What's going on, guys? We are back, X Factor Nation, NFL Sports Talk, Week 5 on S Factor Sports Nation. I'm joined by just Caleb today. We just got me and Caleb. Troy's on MIA. He's got to work, but we're here. Caleb, how we doing, buddy?
Doing really good, really good. 4 weeks of football down.
Can you
ready for Week 5? I know it goes by so fast.
It's sad. NFL's so much fun to watch, but let's kick it off, man. Who we got?
So let's look at how we start off every video. Let's look at last week's results. Troy went 7-9, and me and Fred tied for 9-7, bringing the records
sure?
to.
Because there's 17. Yeah. I'm stupid. Wait. 30. Dude, I was thinking because there's 17 games. Or 17. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, every week I do the same thing where I'm like, wait, did I miss one?
Wait, so 7-10 for Troy.
7-9 for Troy.
7-9 for Troy. I don't keep on.
9-7 for me and you.
Okay, I'll take that.
Troy goes 33-30-1 for the season. Fred making a comeback, 32-31-1.
Gotta be out.
And I am at 36-27-1. Sitting a little comfy.
Look at him. The new addition to this NFL talk starting to cook us.
But yeah, let's hop right into it. Thursday night football. Colts at Broncos. Fred, give us a breakdown here.
Well, Jonathan Taylor's banged up, which is an issue. And Indianapolis, man, coming in with a lot of expectations, supposed to have a really good defense, and they should with the names they have. Stephon Gilmore, Kwity Paye, Darius Leonard goes down. Zaire Franklin's been good, but I got to go with the Broncos here, man. It's at home. It's in Denver. Always a tough place to play with altitude. Jonathan Taylor banged up. Too many question marks. Give me Denver.
Yeah. Troy also goes Denver. I agree here. Denver all the way. As we were talking off camera, I feel like this is going to be a very boring week because I feel like there's going to be a lot of agreement with a lot of these games going on. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I definitely could see the Colts pulled off, but with Jonathan Taylor being, banged up, and is it guaranteed he's even going to play? I don't think so, right?
I don't think they've released the official injury report for who's going to play Thursday. He's a non-participant today, so.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like Jonathan Taylor is going to play.
No.
Yeah, I'm not even crazy about the Broncos, but given the circumstance, we all agree here. We go Broncos.
Yeah, I think Russ will pick it up too. I mean, he's in a new offense, new city, a whole new situation where he's been comfortable in Seattle. So I expect him to hit a groove and get going, especially with
I'm hoping because he really has not looked very good at this.
But with Javonte Williams going down is bad, but at least you have Melvin Gordon, a guy who's proven in this league. So thank God
they have all the pieces, man. They have all the pieces. It's just it's got to connect. It's got to connect. Well, yeah, another 9:30 game this week.
So excited.
London. Dude, the London atmosphere is insane.
Dude, they said all 32 teams are represented in the crowd. Like, that's so sick because they don't have a home team, so they're just rooting for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd was so into that game. It was wild. But we'll go Giants versus Packers here in London. Me and Troy agree here. We both go Packers. I really wanted to give the Giants the edge here, but I just couldn't do it. Fred, where are you at?
Yeah, I got to go Packers too, because I would maybe give the Giants a shot, but their receiver core is banged up. They don't have a quarterback right now. I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to play. Tyrod's definitely not going to play. They're working out some quarterbacks today at practice. I mean, with 2-day notice, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
They only had 2 on roster, so too many question marks. Aaron Rodgers dialed in. Give it to him. Packers roll.
Yeah, if there wasn't all those questions with the Giants, I would have gone Giants just because in an atmosphere like that where nobody really has the advantage, anything can happen. Yeah. And Saquon Barkley could have an explosive game, and he still could. But I just think Packers.
You gotta have a quarterback. Gotta have a quarterback in this league.
Yeah. So once again, we all agree there. Packers. Moving on to 1:00 on Sunday. Your Steelers going up against the Buffalo Bills. Are you going to stick with the hometown team here, Fred?
I bet against them before this year, and I was right. I try not to be biased in my picks. I got to go Buffalo. We're a 14-point underdog.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett's starting for the first time. Super excited. Still hesitant because I do, as a Steelers fan, I was rooting for Mitchell Trubisky. Don't think it was his fault. I don't think he was playing bad. But I get it. You want to add a spark. I hope Kenny does well. I hope he's my franchise quarterback. No TJ Watt again. I mean, we miss his presence. Alex Highsmith leading the league in sacks, I do believe right now, but he's not TJ Watt. Doesn't do the things he does. Josh Allen's probably going to win MVP this year. That Bills defense is suffocating. Even Devin Singletary at running back looks great this year. I think they're way too much for the Steelers. We beat them last year on the road. We go back to Buffalo this year. Don't get it done. Bills by a lot, actually. I think they.
I listened to a podcast today where this is the biggest spread so far this season. I'm pretty sure. Like it's not even close.
Well, Deontay said in an interview too. He said we're in a rebuild. I mean, and I hate to admit it because I've been a Steelers fan my whole life, and we've had a guy named Ben Roethlisberger, so we've never been. I've never seen a losing season as a Steelers fan.
Right.
Because when Ben came in 2003, I was 5, so that's all I've known, and I've never seen a losing season.
Yeah.
And it might be this year. I hope not, but it's looking like it. So Bills by a lot.
Yeah, it's just the Steelers don't have an answer for a dynamic offense in the Buffalo Bills.
Unless we have TJ Watt. And if you watched Steelers football last year when Ben wasn't at his best, TJ Watt won his football games. Right. I mean, he'd have 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 5 TFLs, like all over the place. But when you're missing your best player, it's bound to happen. So
yeah, we all agree there once again. Buffalo Bills. It's like I said, it's just a tough week because I just feel like a lot of these games.
I mean, you look at the spreads. It's like you see a lot of 7, like a touchdown favor. Like that's a lot, man.
Yeah. Chargers at the Browns here. Troy goes Chargers. I also go Chargers. Where do you lead?
I'm actually gonna go Cleveland on this one.
I like that.
The Dog Pound's a tough place to play. You have Nick Chubb, second league in rushing this year, right behind Saquon. He's a beast. I mean, just plain and simple. And you add in the element of Kareem Hunt. I mean, that's incredible. I don't know if Myles Garrett's back this week.
That was a big factor for me. I mean, I obviously could have looked it up, but I don't know if he's back or not. And plus, it's like, how is he going to look coming back from being banged up like that? If Garrett was there, I would have been more likely to go Browns.
I was trying to look at their injury report. I don't see anything. Yeah, I mean, he's a beast. I mean. Right. He's one of the best pass rushers in the league. I mean, but you look at the Chargers, you have Khalil Mack, has 5 sacks this year already on the season, another elite pass rusher. Sucks Joey Bosa got hurt because that tandem's incredible. But I'm going to go Cleveland here. I think they ground and pound. Chargers, let's see where they rank in run defense this year, middle of the pack. So I'm gonna go Cleveland here.
I like that pick. I really wanted to go that way too.
I bet on them last week and they disappointed me against a good Falcons team. I think Marcus Mariota played some good ball, but I think they redeemed themselves at home this year or this week.
Yeah. So we got the first switch. You going with the Browns there. I like it.
I picked against the Steelers and then picked the Browns. What is happening to me, man?
Yeah, I like it though. I like it.
I hate it.
We'll go Texans at Jags. Where are you leading here?
Well, I remember as soon as the Jags got that pick 6 early against the Eagles, I was like, are the Jags good? And then they kind of got buried. But I do think that game was sloppy. It was another rain game, but
yeah,
I do like what they bring in the Texans, man. I kind of had some hope for him this year. I thought maybe Davis Mills could do a little bit. Damian Pierce looks great, but I think the Jags are just too good, especially compared to them. Louis Oluwakan has been incredible for them. Foye Oluwakan has been incredible for them. The Mike linebacker, Josh Allen, too much. Trevor Lawrence looking good. Give me Jags.
Yeah, we all agree here. We're all in unison once again. It's tough to bet against it. The Jags have looked really good. And granted, last week was an ugly game. Texans, I mean, they have some nice pieces like you mentioned. Damian Pierce has looked great. I have him on one of my fantasy teams. Great pickup for me.
And Stingley looks good. Their pick and the other kid, the Jalen Petrie, free safety out of Baylor. Their other rookies look really good for them.
Yeah.
So they're young. So they're in a rebuild phase. And that's you lose a franchise quarterback and they lost to Sean Watson.
It's crazy to think that the Texans have a great chance at the worst record in the league because they're not the worst team in the league, in my opinion.
No, and they'll be in a lot of games. Like they could very well win this game or even make it close. And I think they're going to be that team this year where they'll probably get bet against a lot, but they'll fight. They'll probably cover the spread.
Yeah, it's a team I think you have to at least respect when they come. Yeah, so
because Davis Mills isn't bad. I mean, there's definitely worse quarterbacks in the league than Davis Mills.
Yeah, all again there. Jaguars, Bears at Vikings.
Oof.
I feel like this is a pretty easy answer. I mean, I didn't give it a second thought. I mean, you could try to convince me to give it a second thought. Me and Troy agree here. We're going Vikings. I feel you're also going Vikings, but
you have to, man. I mean, Justin Fields is bad. I mean, I've said it from the beginning. You can't trust Ohio State quarterback, and you're just proving me right. He just doesn't look comfortable. And, you can give me the excuse of he doesn't have weapons, whatever it may be. Yes, he doesn't have the best receiving core, but he also has professional receivers on his team. They have viable running backs, but he's just not. He doesn't take care of the football. He panics in the pocket. Give me Vikings. Kirk Cousins looks great. Adam Thielen finally had a good game last week in London. And you got Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in football. Dalvin Cook, I think, has a big game. Vikings by a ton.
Yeah, I liked what I saw out of the Vikings last week. Justin Jefferson getting going again after the last 2 weeks,
Against a really good Saints defense. I mean, he cooked Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
One of the top
he looked really good.
in the league. Oof.
He looked really good. You got Thielen getting better and better every week too. Dalvin Cook, like you said, I'm really hoping he has a big game. This is the week to get yourself going again. So yeah, you could convince me. I know Troy and I talked about it last week. The Bears are one of the worst teams in football. I think the Bears might be just the worst team in football. Like,
they just don't have a lot going for them. Eddie Jackson maybe on defense is like maybe the only talking point with 3 interceptions, but I mean,
you can just never convince me to pick. I did it last week or 2 weeks ago just to try to stand out and be different. But I don't. If it comes down to it, I don't think you could ever convince me at any point ever to try to pick anything close to the Bears for any reason.
And I don't know their direction. It's like they have Roquan Smith who wants out. They have Justin Fields who where's the development? No receiving core. You only have 7 picks in a draft if you haven't traded, and have more picks than that. I mean, you can't fill all those holes in 1 year. So I think it's a multiple year rebuild, and you got to hit on a quarterback, plain and simple.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, all agreeing there. Vikings, Lions at the Pats. Me and Troy actually went different here, but I want to see where you go before I.
Is Mac Jones playing? That's my question. If not, which it doesn't look like he is. I don't think Bailey Zappi is the answer for me, or Brian Hoyer. I don't know what his concussion looks like. Shouldn't play with a concussion. Shouts out Miami. I got to go Detroit. They should have a better record than they have. I mean, their offense is so explosive. It seems. I mean, Jamal Williams, a backup running back, 276 and 6 tuts. I mean,
their record blows my mind because they have the pieces. I mean, we've been pretty high on them for more than most people.
I feel like I've bet on them every week, and they've lost the Eagles by 3, lost the Vikings by 4, lost the Seahawks by 3. It's like they're right there. They just have to finish.
Yeah.
You have to. And Jared Goff's played great, man. I mean, 1,100 yards, 11 tuts, 3 my bads, but you got to win. And I hope St. Brown's back this week because I think they missed him against Seattle, and I think Amon-Ra is disgusting. So I'm gonna get
So Troy's with you there on Detroit. I switched it up. I went Pats. I was really low on the Pats beginning of the season. I really didn't like it, but I think they're better than I gave them credit for originally. Granted, if Bailey Zappi's playing or Brian Hoyer, it's like, okay. I mean, but I think, with a Detroit team that's not really been able to get over the hump just yet, you look at a team that's starting potentially one of those 2 guys, you're going to, maybe not get as up for this game but then again, the Lions could be like, this is our time to finally, get a win and prove ourselves. But I'll switch it up just to be different. And give me the Pats here. Like I said, I was really low on them early on. Like week 1 after you guys were trying to, I want to say you guys were trying to give Tua a lot of credit. And I was like, I mean, the Pats defense was not there. Those were easy reads. But as the week's gone on, I've tried to give them a little more and more, and they look a little bit better than I was originally given. So I'll roll with them here.
Yeah, my big question for them is if they're going to stick with Mac Jones in the future. So
I feel like that was such an easy answer a while ago. Now it's kind of like, is that the guy? Yeah.
Didn't have. I mean, he wasn't playing great when he was in. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Falcons at Bucks here. This is Troy's upset of the week. Troy rolls with the Falcons. I like the Falcons. I think that they've shown highlights on offense and on defense that stand out to where you're like, oh, this team's actually pretty solid. And I think, in my opinion, I think this team could sneak into the playoffs. I went with Bucks here, though. The Bucks defense, in my opinion, is just too much for Falcons here. But where are you leaning?
I'm also going to go Bucks. Losing Cordell Patterson for Atlanta is tough. I mean, he's a dynamic playmaker who had an unreal year last year and was already having a great season this year. I mean, he had 340 on the ground, 3 touchdowns, and only on 58 attempts. So I mean, he's a dynamic in the passing game as well. we'll see. I think Brady bounces back. Getting a divorce, it seems. So it doesn't look like he's all there in the head, but hopefully he gets a fire lit under him, and I hope he gets Julio involved. And Godwin and Evans, I think, are just too much for that Atlanta secondary. Got AJ Terrell, but outside of that, there's too many question marks for me. So also going Bucks. I also like to see Leonard Fournette get going.
Yeah, I need Leonard Fournette to get going in both my fantasy leagues.
Zero touchdowns this year. I mean, that's unacceptable for a guy that big.
Yeah. I mean, I like where Troy's going here with the upset. I like the Bucks defense a little bit more.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot more actually, but nonetheless. Titans at Commanders. Where are you going here?
Dude, I've been such a big Commanders, advocate, especially early on. They were kind of like my surprise team of the year. I really liked their roster. Just haven't put it together. Tennessee's, proved me wrong. They've won, tough back-to-back games after an 0-2 start, beating a good Raiders team, beating a good Indy team, just by a score. But I actually am going to stick with the Commanders here. Not an upset because I don't feel like the Titans are an elite team for where I can put it on upset alert. I think I still trust Washington. I think Carson Wentz is a valuable option for them. Jahan Dotson's look great. He finds the end zone. A rookie out of Penn State looks good. You have Terry McLaurin. You have Logan Thomas. You have weapons. Antonio Gibson's look really good out of the gate. Defense, you got Jamin Davis. You got your guys. Give me Washington, man.
Yeah. Troy also goes Washington. I switched it up. I went Titans. I wasn't very confident. And I think, even listening to you, I was like, God, did I make the wrong choice?
No, so they won tough games back. I mean, the Raiders, I know they were 1-3, but that's a good football team. And Indy 1-2-1, good football team. So it's not like they beat some chumps.
Give me the Titans, though. I'm hoping Derrick Henry has a big week.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good last week. I think he's up on the up and up.
Yeah. So, me and Troy and you have all talked about how, Derrick Henry's due for a big game. And I mean, he's having good games, but like a Derrick Henry type performance, I'll bank on it for this week. So I'll go Titans there. You both go Commanders. Moving to the 4:00 slot.
I think you missed a 1 o'clock game. Seahawks. Which one?
Yeah, I did. Go for it.
This is actually, this is one I've tossed and turned about because I like Seattle, and Jameis being banged up, kind of too many question marks there. But Andy Dalton looked good in London, man. Didn't look bad. But I'm actually going to stick with the home team just because I think New Orleans has an elite defense, and I think they suffocate Geno Smith, who's looked good. He's one of the highest passer ratings in the league. Rashard Penny got going. But I'm going to go Saints. Yeah. Not really an upset again because I think both teams are kind of evenly matched here, especially with no Jameis.
Yeah, so Troy did not send that one in, so we don't have an answer for Troy. We'll get the answer at some point. I also went Saints here. I think they actually looked fairly good against the Vikings. Not like, given missing Alvin Kamara, given missing Michael Thomas, and Jameis Winston, like I didn't think they looked as bad as they were in that game, and given that crazy ending, I've never seen anything like that. I just, the Seahawks had a great game last week, putting up a whole lot of points. Geno Smith looking, it's wild to think that, like, I heard Bill Simmons talk about this. He's like, if you were in a coma and then came out of it and saw that trade and then have seen how both quarterbacks has performed, you would think it was the Seahawks giving up all of that to receive Geno Smith. Like, he's played that well. But ultimately, I do like the Saints here. I like the Saints a little bit more. What's the word on Kamara? Do we know?
Let's see. Let's look at their injury report. Is he even listed still? He's questionable for week 5.
Okay.
So is Jameis. So is Michael Thomas. So is their offensive guard Andrews Pete, and Marcus May is also questionable for them.
Yeah. So give me the Saints. I'm with you though. Give me the Saints. We'll get Troy's answer eventually. You'll find out next week. But nonetheless, 49ers at Panthers here.
Also, just another 1 o'clock game. Sorry.
I did.
Dolphins Jets.
Go for it.
I am going to pick. I know Tua is not going to play. Thank God.
Right.
Scary injury. Prayers up for him. That was an injury I've never seen. I mean, the way his fingers and hands were acting, it was a scary situation. I hope there's some punishment given out somewhere. I am actually going to stick with Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves, and the Miami Dolphins. I think the Jets look good. Their defense suffocated Pittsburgh at points, and the running back tandem with Brees Hall and Michael Carter, I think, is great for New York. Zach Wilson needs to limit mistakes, but I'm
A
actually
little rusty.
I'm going to go Miami on the road.
Yeah, I picked my the Jets last week. I don't know, like I saw bright spots with them.
Against my Steelers.
I saw bright spots with them that I like, and all these guys you mentioned. I really like Brees Hall and all these guys. I thought about going Jets, with Tua being out, but even given the situation last Thursday, I think Bridgewater did fine.
Yeah, I mean he that's coming off, probably second team preparation. I mean, now he's got a whole they played Thursday, so he's had extended time with first team reps.
So I like it. I think given the opportunity, to prep for this long, I'll go with the Miami Dolphins as well. Wanted to go Jets here, but ultimately going with the Dolphins. This is another game Troy did not send me in, so that's why I didn't.
Come on, Troy, what are you doing, kid?
But we'll get there. Are we ready for the 4:00 games?
I am now ready.
Okay. 49ers at Panthers. Where you leaning?
Dude, last night, man, watching that Rams game, I was shocked, man. Jimmy G looks good. He gets the ball out quick. Debo is electric. Jeff Wilson looked good. And the Panthers, man, Baker looks rough. I mean, it is rough out there for him. Chris McCaffrey looked good, but I mean, that's about your only bright spot right now. Brian Burns, sure, on the defensive side, but that 49ers defense suffocated the Super Bowl champs. I mean, Nick Bosa actually is leading the league in sacks now, had 2 last night over Highsmith. It was 5.5. Just wanted to clear that up. No Steelers bias. That 49ers defense is great. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do just enough, and I think they beat the Panthers on the road.
I picked the 49ers too originally just because I went with the Panthers last week as my upset of the week, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, watching that game last night, I didn't watch all of it. Watching what I saw, that 49ers defense looked great.
They won me a fantasy game last night, so I'm excited.
So I have a hard time picking against a defense like that, especially after a hot game last night. We all agree here, 49ers. We'll move on. Eagles at Cards, my game of the week. I think this is going to be I think so. It's interesting with the Eagles. I've obviously said I'm not going to pick against Jalen Hurts till he proves me wrong. They haven't up until last week. Okay, so this last game they scored 9 points in the second half. Other than that, I think they had been shut out every second half. So they finally started to get going in the second half. I think the Eagles are going to come out here hot. I think we might see them get out to an early big lead, and then we might see Kyler start to make a comeback and make things very interesting. So I think this is going to be an exciting game, exciting quarterback play, exciting pieces on both offensive ends. But yeah, I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I'm not picking against Jalen Hurts.
I have to disagree with you on this one, man. I respect it being your game of the week because this is going to be an awesome game. The Eagles defense, I think, is my highlight. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. I mean, Hassan Reddick's look good. James Bradbury's look great in the secondary. You got Darius Slay. But I think Kyler gets it done, man. I'm not a Kyler believer, but I think the way he's played up to this point has been okay. Marquise Brown has looked good on the outside for them as an X receiver with Hopkins out. Got a tough win against the Panthers last week. I think they keep it rolling at home and no more undefeated teams.
Wow. Troy also agreed with me, Eagles there. I can't hate the pick. Can't hate it. So Cowboys at Rams, my upset of the week. I went Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
Cooper Rush is hot. And if you watched last week, I literally said, I don't care who the Cowboys play. If they win again, I will pick the Cowboys for Cooper Rush. Keep it going. I went Dallas. We saw that last night, the Rams getting swarmed on defense. And I think the Cowboys defense, they have the pieces to bother this Rams offense. Maybe not as effective, but I think they definitely have the pieces to create some havoc for the Rams and not make it easy, and give me the Cowboys on the road. Yeah,
I like the Cowboys. I mean, it's insane what they're doing with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is good, ? If you're a team who needs a quarterback with injury, I'm going to go Colin. CeeDee Lamb's look great. Even Zeke's look pretty good this year. Micah Parsons is an absolute sicko. But I am actually going to go with Sean McVay and the Rams. I don't think they lose 2 in a row here. I think they pull out a win. Matthew Stafford's got to clean it up. I mean, 6 picks compared to 4 touchdowns. That's not like him. They have to get away from just targeting Cooper Kupp. Get your other weapons involved. Get Darrell Henderson. Get Cam Akers. Get these other receivers going. Tyler Higbee looked good last night, but you got to find Allen Robinson. You got to find these other guys. And I think they do that. Aaron Donald has 3 sacks. Good for you. Go Rams.
Yeah. Troy agrees with you there, Rams.
It's hard to beat them. It's hard to have them go on a losing streak. I mean,
especially at home. Yeah. I'm a man of my word, though, Fred, as you know, so I have to stick with.
I know you are,
Dallas. So
I know you are.
Sunday Night Football, Bengals at Ravens. Troy's game of the week. He had underlined.
Dang, it's my game of the week.
Statement game. Troy goes Bengals. A statement game for them. Where are you going?
This is my game of the week as well. AFC North bias maybe, but I mean, I think this game decides the AFC North in the sense of I do believe these 2 teams will be fighting for that top spot. I'm actually going to go with the away team. I think Cincinnati gets it done here. I think they continue the hot streak. I think the start of the year they were just a little sluggish. I think Joe Mixon goes off. I think Jamar Chase, who's been their second best receiver, arguably behind T. Higgins, which is crazy to say when Jamar's a top 5 guy in the league. But I do think they're too much. That defense steps up and contains Lamar.
I went with Baltimore here. I switched it up. I went Baltimore at home. Just picking the home team there. Big game. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the home team in a spotlight game like this. Obviously I think the Bengals. There's a big chance for the Bengals to carve up the secondary on the Ravens with all these pieces. Joe Mixon not having a good game. Is it 2 or 3 weeks now? I think at least 2 weeks he's really struggled.
I think last week he stepped it up. No, or he had 82 yards in the ground. Or no, sorry, 61 yards, 24 yards, 57, 82. But he didn't have a touchdown last week. But that's a bad average. He only averaged 2.5 yards per carry last week.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
So he is not. He's averaged 2.5, 2, 3, and 3, which is not good.
Yeah, it's him not getting going concerns me a little bit.
A little offensive line issue, but I like to see him get involved in the passing game too because I know he has that ability.
Yeah, but I went with Baltimore home team. This is a statement game for the Bengals in my opinion. But I got to give the edge to the home team there.
Yep, I like it.
Final game, Monday Night Football. Raiders at Chiefs. Fred, I left this one blank because I might be cheating here. I don't care. Troy went with the Chiefs. I'm just unsure, and I'm wondering to hear your answer if it's going to sway me one way or the other.
It's my upset of the week.
I like it.
I'm going Vegas. I think Derek Carr, who gets too much hate, I think he tosses it around. Devontae. I mean, you got Devontae. That's all you got to say. You got Devontae Adams on your team. Mac Hollins look good. Get Darren Waller going, please. Get Hunter Renfrow healthy. Even Josh Jacobs looked good this year. That record deceives a lot of people at 1-3. Max Crosby looks great coming off the edge. And Kansas City, who looked really good against the Bucs, and that defense looks suffocating as well. But I am going to go with the upset. Give me Vegas.
Yeah, I told myself last week that if the Raiders lost again, I wasn't going to pick them anymore. They won, obviously, last week. But I'll stick with the Chiefs here. I just can't bring myself to do it. I like you sticking your head out and going for the upset of the week there, but I just can't bring myself especially after the way the Chiefs looked last week. They looked really, really good. So I'll go Chiefs there. But I will pass it now over to you for your fantasy football matchup of the week against Troy.
Yeah. So last week, Troy won. I had freaking Nick Westbrook-Ikine, who gave me a fat 0. Didn't do it for me. Pretty sad about it. I don't even think he got targeted in that game. Troy's player, do you have it written down? I literally just lost my mind.
Juwan Johnson?
No, from last week.
I don't have it written down.
He won. Whoever it was, he won. So I think that puts us at 2-2 matched up wise. I literally had it on the tip of my tongue, and maybe it'll come to me by then. But yes, as Caleb alluded to, he does have Juwan Johnson this week. He is a tight end for the New Orleans Saints, a guy we talked about a couple weeks ago, and we didn't. But I'm not going to get into it. whatever. He's owned by less than what a point and a half or a 1.5% of leagues. He had Josh Reynolds last week of the Lions.
That's right.
Got to me. But yes, Juwan Johnson, we're 2-2. He's a tight end from the New Orleans Saints, and I'm going with a curveball. I alluded to the Rams needing to get some weapons involved. Get my man Ben Skoronecki going, bro. Skowronek, something. I mean,
it's there.
He's there. You know, they put him at fullback. They move him around in the slot. He's a 7th round pick from 2021 of Notre Dame. He plays a lot of snaps. He's that third receiver with Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp out there. He gets targeted, a little bit. He got targeted six times week 1. He got 3 targets last week, but I think he gets going this week. I think he gets a touchdown, and I think he's surprising people in the fantasy world. And he's on by 0.9% of leagues around America.
I love it. Love all the fight.
The world, more than America. Fantasy football, London. We love you.
Yeah. Another great week last week. Football. Seems like it might not be as great this week, but with the NFL, you never know.
This is where you start weeding out the weak links. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
This first couple weeks, you can maybe be like, "Oh, it's early. Still got to get it going." But now it's nut up or shut up.
Yeah, but it's all of our week 5 predictions. Anything you have to add here, Fred?
Steelers, stay patient. I know we're used to winning. Kenny Pickett, I hope you do well, kid. Mitch, hang in there, bud. Feel bad for you, but we'll get it going. Matt Canada, find a new job. We need a new OC. My Tom and I love you. Mwah. That's all I got.
Get us out of here.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to X Factor Sports Talk, NFL edition, week 5. We're super excited. Can't wait to watch some football. Stay tuned. We have a lot of NBA content coming out right around the corner. October 18th, I believe, is opening day. So stay tuned for that. See you guys next time. Don't be a star. Don't be a superstar. Be an X Factor. Change the game. We love you guys. God bless and peace out.